Today's Daf Mem Aleph. We're going to start from Mem Omid Beis on the bottom. 4 lines from the bottom. Omer Reb Zera. Omer of Masna, Omer Shmuel. But that's actually, I'll say, do me a favor, maybe say that if Mendy comes, give him that seat. He's very uptight now. Oy, I said it on live.
Start again.
Restart, erase, go back.
Keep it listen, no matter whether it's live.
Yes, exactly. It's always live. It's always live.
You could prove it then, but you really kept it missing.
I can prove that he'll never watch this video. Omer Reb Zera, Omer Masna, Omer Shmuel. Tcheles ein bo mishum klaim. If you put tzemer and pishin together, there's no problem. There's no shatnez. Vafilu betalis pturo. Even if you do it, you have shatnez in a talis that is supposed to be potter, and the Gemara is going to explain what that means. In other words, you have a situation where you don't need to put tzitzis at all, and you put the tzitzis and their shatnez, you're not over. So what does it mean you have a talis that's potter? My talis pturo ilay medeles bo shiuro. If you're going to say that the actual talus is potter because it's not large enough, what's the shear? A talus that a child, whatever the child is, a child that's embarrassed to go without proper clothing, whatever age that is, so he could, if it covers his head and most of his body, and some people say it's a second shear or an additional shear, or it's the same shear, or an adult kid that's already 13, he lost. He came late, he lost. If he comes, we'll ask him. Now, if this older kid goes out with it once in a while, so that's the size of a beggar that you chayav b'tzitzis. But if it doesn't have that shear, even if a kid, older kid that's bar mitzvah goes out with it, it's potter. So this shear of a beged, it has to be able to cover a head of a small child and most of his body, applies also to shatnez. We ask, what does it mean? If you tell me that if you wear a beged that is a temporary beged, that's not really, doesn't have the shear for a small child, and you go out with it, you're not over in klayim, that can't be. When it comes to shatnez, no matter what the size of the beged is, you're chayiv. So what is the pshat? That if a beged pishtin has this shear that a could fit a cotton, then it's chayiv b'tzitzis. Once it's chayiv b'tzitzis and you put shatnez on it, it becomes your potter from shatnez. Again, if this beged is the size of a beged that a child could wear it and will cover most of his body, then it makes it mechuyev b'tzitzis. Once it's mechuyev b'tzitzis and you put shatnez on, your potter. But if it's smaller than that size, so now it's not chayiv b'tzitzis, and you put shatnez in it, now you're over in shatnez because you had no reason to put shatnez on this beged.
Didn't we say it's not a beged then?
No, it's a beged. A beged starts at three fingers by 3 fingers. The question is, what's the shear of a beged that's chayiv b'tzitzis? So the Gemara says we have to say a different pshat. Elamai ptura. It can't be when he said that shatnez doesn't apply to a beged that's potter. What's the pshat? Elamai ptura hitil lemuteles. This is the halach that we had yesterday. You have a beged that already has tzitzis on it. All 4 corners are covered with tzitzis. He went and he put an additional 4 pairs of tzitzis on every corner. So what happens? The question is, the additional tzitzis that he put on, they're shatnez. So that's what you were talking about, right? That was on Erev Yontif. He asked the question. You put more shatnez, and I said there's no such thing as more shatnez. Once it's potter, it's potter. So this is what the Gemara over here says. That the first 4 pairs, everybody agrees there's no problem with shatnez. It's a regular tzitzis. You're allowed to put shatnez on tzitzis. Now it was already potter from tzitzis because it already has 4, and he put on an additional 4 things of tzitzis, 4 pairs of tzitzis. So the halacha is, even, that's what he's saying. Vafilu b'talis p'tura, even if the talis doesn't need any tzitzis at all, because it already has tzitzis. And he put on more tzitzis, you're not over on shatnez. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Zera Chodazim. Last night we learned this exact halacha, that you're allowed to put tzitzis on top of tzitzis. Says the Gemara, there's actually 2 halachas here. The halacha that we learned last night tells us one thing, and what we're learning now is another halacha that we got out of that halacha. What did we learn yesterday? We learned that if you put, there's no problem with tasif elimina asli. If you have a beged with 4 tzitzis, and then you put an additional 4 tzitzis on it, and you cut the tzitzis off, again, you have a beged with tzitzis, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll call them 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he goes afterwards and puts on 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 more pairs. And then he chops off 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is he left with? 5, 6, 7, 8. The problem is that 5, 6, 7, 8, when he put them on, didn't accomplish anything when he put them on. So maybe they're not tzitzis. And then when you chopped off 1, 2, 3, 4, you created tzitzis by chopping off 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a problem with tasif elimina asli. That we said is not a problem. Based on that halacha, that you could use tzitzis 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm also going to tell you that when you put it on, you weren't over on shatnez. That's another halacha. Zog the Gemara. Tana Rabbanan talis kfulo chayeves betzitzis. If I have a very, very long talis, a large talis, and I fold it in half, and I put that talis on, so now I am chayev betzitzis where? On the fold. It just so happens to be that I have in my Gemara a sample for this. Here. This is the talis. But it was very long, so he folded it in half. So where does he put the tzitzis? He puts the tzitzis on the fold. This corner, obviously, he has to put the tzitzis on this corner. I'll tell you how I got this later, these tzitzis. I didn't just cut them off my tzitzis. This is the corner, this corner is 100% you have to put here. The question is, do you put over here? Or could you put it over here on this corner? Because right now, this is how he's using the talis like this. This is where his head is going to be up here. So he puts tzitzis on that corner. That's one shita. Reb Shimon poiter. Reb Shimon says we have a big problem. How can you put tzitzis over here? What happens when you open it up? He doesn't have tzitzis anymore. It has to be on the corner of the beged, and it's not on the corner. Look, it's in the middle.
You shouldn't say poter, you should say
Also,
on that side.
oh, that was yesterday's.
According to Beit Shammai,
Yeah.
put tzitzis on all 4 corners immediately once it's made.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have to put it on all 4 corners?
So maybe he did put it on all 4. He knew he was going to fold it up. He knew it was 45 feet long. He can't wear it like that. That's a meshug and a talis. So he folded it and he put the tzitzis here. It doesn't say when he made it, when he put the tzitzis. Reb Shimon poiter v'shavin, and everybody agrees shim kfala utfara shechayeves. Everybody agrees that if he put a stitch right over here, so now this became the size of the beged, he no longer could open it up. Obviously, you're going to put on this corner. That's not a problem. No tanis v'leimin osir. V'shavin shim kfala shechayeves. Tfara pshita. Ask the Gemara, if you sewed it, okay, so that's your beged. Who cares what it started out with? Your beged is now half the size. He didn't really sew it. He put pins in there. He's holding it together with some pin. Or another pshat is very thick stitching, but it's not a typical sewing. Rabbi Bar Huna, Ikla Lebe Rova Bar Rav Nachman, Rabbi Bar Huna went to the house of Rava, the son of Menachos. Chazia, and he saw Rava, the Havimikasa talis kfula, that he was wearing this talis. V'Rama chute ilavei kfela, and he actually put the tzitzis on the fold, like this diagram. Now, what happened was he didn't say anything. I think the Beis Yosef says so. If he held not like this, he should have told him, "What are you doing? You don't have the tzitzis." No, he waited. He waited patiently, and then he got him. He waited until he'll mess up. Because how come they hold that you shouldn't put the tzitzis here? Because it might open up. So you figure, okay, I'm gonna be quiet. It's just a matter of time before his talus falls off, slips over his back, and you're gonna have a major bow. And that's what happened. That's how the Beis Yosef says. He didn't want to tell him. He wanted to show him on himself. He should learn his lesson. Ipshita, it actually unfolded. Vasachuta, and it turned out that the strings, the tzitzis, v'kom hadi reishe. Now the strings were in the wrong place. The strings were here. If you look at this hole is not in the right place really, but pretend that this is where his head would be, in this V, the V-neck. So it came out that the string was over here where his head was, not over here where it's supposed to be. Omalei lavhainu konof, because of Rachmana Be'Raisa. This is not what the Rebbeinu Shalom wrote in the Torah, konof, the way you did it. So, Osis Shadia Ikasik Lima Achrite. So he threw off that tzitzis. He went to the drawer, pulled out another talus. He had one that was good. Omalei, he said, nope, still not good. Misabers Chovis Gavru. You hold that a tzitzis is only when the person wears the beged, then he's chayiv b'tzitzis. Choivas talasu. He holds like Bishamai, that the tzitzis is a choiva on the actual talus. It doesn't help me that you took off your talus and put it away in the drawer. You're not allowed to have a talus in a drawer without tzitzis. It's just owning a talus that requires tzitzis. It's not wearing it. Zil Romilo. So he went and he put tzitzis on the, what did you say?
Told him to go.
Yeah. He says, go put tzitzis over here on these corners where you need to put them.
If it's a chayvus abeged, every time you fold the talus in your drawer, you got to put the tzitzis in the other corner.
No, we're saying over here not. Folding is not a problem. The opposite. If you put it on the fold, you're not yoyed. So you have to put it on the konof.
No, what happens if you fold it afterwards?
No, the Gemara is saying that folding is not an issue. Don't think about folding. Think about the final product. This is where you have to put the tzitzis, and according to this man Omar, it's in the drawer.
You're saying it doesn't change the beggar.
No, we just said that folded. We don't care about the kefil. The tzitzis always has to be in the konof. Rachmana, the Rebbeinu Shalom wants you to put on the konof.
That was not good because now there's no tzitzis on the bag. Even though it's not on you.
Proved it.
He proved. He put it over here on the kefil, and he told him, but once it opens up, it has to be over here. You have to put this over here. He says, you're right, I'm going to put it over here. Meanwhile, he put it in the drawer. He said, no, but even in the drawer, you still need tzitzis over here.
Why did he fold it in the drawer?
It doesn't help folding. That's the whole point. He had it folded, and he told him,
It's fine. He holds it to be in the fold.
No, he doesn't.
no, he holds you can't have it in the fold. That's exactly what's going on here. He saw Rava folded it and put it on like this part, and then he said, wait a minute, you can't do it like that. But he didn't say anything. He waited until it unfolded. But of course he holds it even when it's folded. It's still usher to put the tzitzis over. He just waited to show him that the reason why it's usher is because it might unfold and then your corners become over here. The only time it's mutter is if you fold it and you sew it. That's when you put it over here.
Why is that not possible also?
Why doesn't blame it also? It's not done.
When it's on the four corners in the middle, then it's not a kosher pan. When you fold it over the mishar, then it becomes now four corners on the four corners.
You didn't sew.
Oh, yeah, who says that? No, it could be you're right. Could be you're right, but it could be that they sewed it and then they put the tzitzis on.
Wait, is this part of the problem with folding your talus and then wearing it? So you got like, it looks like you've got two tzitzis in front and then you got the four corner empty corner at the back?
I don't think that's I think the problem over there is that you're not wearing it as a beged. It's not a, yeah.
Like a scarf.
That's not a beged. In order to have a talus is like it covers your body.
So why
I
don't
think
we
that's
say
the issue. I don't know.
It's the reverse of the case we had before. Just like we had an issue with the talis being too small for a katan, so you don't need tzitzis. Why don't we say the opposite? If something's too long, and they're embarrassed, you're not chayav in tzitzis.
Too long, embarrassed by too long. There's ways out of it. You fold it. You can do stuff with it folding.
Exactly. You fold it. Once you fold it, then you're chayav in tzitzis.
But you chayav in tzitzis on the full length.
No, on the full length.
You're just asking in general. Something, any beged, we should have a rule. Any beged that you're a little bit embarrassed to go out with,
No,
you should
I'm
be
just saying this talus.
holes in the jeans or whatever.
This talus was too long. No, not holes
Yeah.
in the jeans are.
No,
this
for
talus
frum
was
guy.
too long
Yeah,
for him to go out, right?
Right.
So it's not chayav in tzitzis. So what do you do?
It
You
is.
fold it. Once you folded it.
it is. No, that's it's
No max
it's
size.
right, and we're going to see that. There's actually no max size. Well, that's something else. That's not in the beged. That's in the chutim, but. Fine. Yeah, you never see that there's a problem with max. The problem is always on the minimum. What's the minimum shear of beged? And that's it. Too big is never in it. What are you going to say? That beged is really, really big is not tummy? Doesn't become tummy because it's too big of a
We're
beged?
not talking about tumah. If
We're talking about-
tumah, then it would be even something.
You're saying when it comes to tzitzis here, but I don't think this is a max. Fine. So the Gemara, Leimim Misayele. Let's say we have a raya from what we learned yesterday. By the way, it was amazing. Yesterday we had almost 20 people there. And this is after a fast 10 o'clock at night. I can't believe it. I said, I don't really have to prepare. There's going to be 2 people. Geshma. All right. Says the Gemara, we learned yesterday, Chasidim Rishonim, Kivin she'orgu bo shalosh, hayu matilim bo tcheles. So, what do you see? Chaim actually had this right yesterday. This is what he was saying. The reason why the Chasidim Rishonim, when when they got to 3 fingers away from the end of the beged, which already is considered the end of the beged, that's where the kamfis are, they put on their tzitzis right away. What was the rush? Let them wait until the guy completes it, he completes the beged. Why does he have to, you already could do, it's kosher tzitzis, I'm going to put in tzitzis. The answer is because the Chasidim Rishonim held that there's a chiyuv on the beged, not on the person. So once you got to that point of the beged and the chiyuv happened, you have to put on the tzitzis, you can't wait. Says the Gemara, no, it's not a raya, shani chasidim the machmir nafshayu. Maybe we hold that the chiyuv is really on the person, but the chasidim or rishonim, they wanted to make it extra chumrah, even when the beged became chayiv.
Didn't we have a Gemara? Didn't we quote before somebody who does something which he doesn't have to do nikra hadjit?
Obviously, it's not. That's
But no, there is machlokes here. It's machlokes. There's machlokes if it's chayvus gav or chayvus beged. According to that shita, according to Bishama, so he's saying stamzah, if you do like Bishama, you're in trouble. But in terms of hedyot is making up a new halacha. This is not made up. There is a shita like that. And I don't know. Maybe it could be mechalik that anyways he's going to put the tzitzis on. So he just did it a little earlier. Doing it earlier is not. He didn't invent a new halacha. It's going to happen. It's just not in the right time.
If there's a basis for it, then it's
Yeah.
So if you have like 100 citizens in your drawer, you can be like a Steinberg.
What?
You could be like a Steinberg and have 100 citizens in your drawer.
No, you're not mekayim the mitzvah until you wear it. But the chiyuv happens when it's in your drawer. You're not mekayim a mitzvah though when it's in your drawer.
Is it a mitzvah?
No, why would you?
Have a mitzvah? I don't know. It's a mitzvah.
It's like having something treif in your house. I don't know.
Huh?
You're halfway there. You got
I don't think-
You're halfway there.
You're saying v'nasa kana p'sot chelas. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're mekayim. Yeah.
So the manufacturer has a whole list of services.
You know what he's saying? Mishkan Chelas, the owner is mekayim hundreds of thousands of mitzvahs every day, according to Bishami. Fine. Very interesting Gemara, Rabbi say. Upligi the malacha. Is machloikis the malachim in Shemayim and this man Omar. Why? There's a story. The malacha ashkechel Rav Katino. The malach bumped into Rav Katino. The mekasis dino. Rav Katino was wearing a beged of pishtin, and this beged of pishtin didn't have any tzitzis on it, because we said yesterday it's not mechuyev b'tchelas. We had yesterday that in Yerushalayim they were very makbid not to put tchelas, and the Gemara had 5 different reasons. The bottom line at the end of the Gemara said because of ksus laila, or maybe he'll it's tasav leiman asui. He might use the white thread that he fixed the beggar with, and whatever the reason is. I don't know if you ever noted the Beis Yosef. He has a whole sefer. I read it many years ago. It's very interesting. Everyone wants to see conversations that he had with the Malach. It's incredible stuff over there. Like one time he woke up a few minutes after Vasikin, the Malach gave it to him. He says, "What kind of business is this? What are you, lazy, lying in your bed like this?" A couple minutes after, good stuff. So anyways, it didn't start by the Beis Yosef. They had it already in the times of the Meroim. Rav Katino, the Mikasis Dino. Omar Lei, Katino. What's going to be with you? Zdino bekaita. You try to get out of the mitzvah. You wear pishtan in the summer because it's thin and you don't want to put tchelis on it. Bisar bala besisva. And you wear this kind of beged, the frock, exactly. If you notice some of the frock guys, they round out the corner, so they shouldn't be chayiv tzitzis. What's going to be with you? What? This was the winter. When it's cold and you wear a heavier beged, how do you get out of the mitzvah? By rounding out the corner. When it's hot and you're wearing something thin, what do? You wear linen. And linen, we said you shouldn't put tcheles on linen. Tzitzis shel tcheles mati elel. What's going to be? How are you ever going to be mekayim this mitzvah? Omar lei, so Rav Katinus answers him. On shisu hasei, are they going to give a punishment in Shemayim for a mitzvah hasei? Meaning, if you don't put on tefillin, mitzvah hasei, of course you're going to get a einish. That wasn't his question. The question is, in our case, tzitzis, you only get a mitzvah if you wear the beged. I'm not wearing the beged. Maybe I don't get a hasei. Am I mechuyev to buy a house in order to put on a mezuzah? Do I have to buy a beged in order to put on tzitzis? Maybe not. Omalei. So the Malach says to him, "Bizman deitcha dika ritcha anshinun." Yes, when it's not good in Shemayim, when there's anger, and they're punishing people anyways, they're going to punish you even for something as far as a say that you didn't really have to do and you didn't do. Says the Gemara. Let's understand this. If you hold that tzitzis is when you wear the tzitzis, you're mechuyev in the tzitzis, not when it's in the drawer. Hainu de mechayev de loika rami. That's why he's chayev, because he didn't put it on. Elo yamris chayev talasu holo mechayeva. The guy is not chayev at all. So the Gemara says, wait a minute, your way it also doesn't make sense. Elo mai chayev gavru. So what? So you feel better to say that it's on the person, only when the person wears it. Need the chayev rachmani. The Torah only said you're chayiv when you have to put on tzitzis, even if it's chayvus gaver, even if the chiyuv is on the person, only when he wears something that you mechuyev b'tzitzis. But a person that wears a frock with rounded out corners or the linen beged after the gzeira that they said he shouldn't put on tchelis, he's not chayiv b'tchelis. This is what the Malach meant to say. Hatztike, you're looking for tricks, for ways out. Lemifter nafshach mitzitzis. Very interesting. We could take a tzalach l'maisa here. Don't look for ways out of a mitzvah. If you look for ways out of a mitzvah, they could get you on that in a time of ritcha. Interesting. Exactly. There's a lot of examples, but that's a good one. He said putting in your tefillah, not putting it in through the front door, putting it in through the different things. I don't know, selling comments. I don't know, whatever it is, trying to get out of.
Make it simple. You say maybe not when today.
So like he's saying, because the beged was already
That's the key.
rounded the corners.
What?
It's because he said because the beged was mechuyev in tzitzis and he rounded.
No.
So when you have to put it
The beg was never b'chuyev b'tzitzis because he rounded out the corners to begin with. But he tried to get out of the mitzvah. He's trying to get out of the mitzvah. You're looking for everything. You're buying a frock with rounded corners. You go with the gdolim that say that you're not mechuyev tchelos. You do all the things that you could do just not to be mekayim mitzvahs. It's
If you round the corners in your beggar, you're wearing
That'd be weird.
You're not avoiding the mitzvah.
Well, what?
If you round the corners of your beggar
Yeah.
and you wear another beggar of tzitzis,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of odd that you messing around the corner.
Yes, they actually say exactly your point. I saw people talk about it, that in the time of the Gemara, they used to wear a lot of cornered begadim. So when you go and you round the corner, it's obvious that you are trying to be over. You're trying to get out of it. But nowadays that they don't have those corners, we don't wear four cornered begadim. It's not so obvious. Well, upon him, it's better to wear tzitzis. That's why we wear tzitzis. Are you going to get einish for it? Bisman is it? Probably not.
Were you serious about the tzitzis?
I just stuck that in. Please, no long messages on the WhatsApp. The comments.
If you sell all your chomets, you don't have anything left for bittul chomets. Then maybe you have a point.
Okay. But you're worried about your booze. That's it. That's it. Okay, fine. Okay. That's the whole point. Okay.
He doesn't have anything left on their face. I want to the drink.
All right. Zog the Gemara. Omer Avtavi by Kisna. Omer Shmuel. Kilei Kufsa. Again, this is just going back to the same halacha. If you have a beged, a tzitzis, inside a box, chayavim b'tzitzis. You mechuyev to put on tzitzis. If it's inside the wrapping, it's in the packaging, you still chay b'tzitzis. Umoyde Shmuel bezakein shasal chvoida. Very interesting lashon. Old man that basically made a tachrichim for himself. Sheptura. Tachrichim don't need tzitzis. The Torah says that it's a beggar that you cover yourself with. A dead person doesn't need covering. It's not to protect him. So Memela, it's not chayav b'tzitzis. Says the Gemara though, Bahi shata vaday reminenle. When a person dies, certainly you have to put tzitzis on his tachrichim. Why? Mishum loyig l'rosh cheref oiseyu. It's very interesting because we all know that when you go, what?
The other way around.
Right. No, we don't. I'll explain. When we go to Beis HaKfaros, we all tuck in our tzitzis. Why? Because loyig l'rosh. You don't want to make fun, like stick out, like a candy to a child. Look, you can't do the mitzvah. But on the other hand, when he's dead and he's in front of us, he's not in his grave, you could give him tzitzis and make him feel good that he's wearing tzitzis. Not that he's going to be mekayim a mitzvah or anything, but he shouldn't feel left out. Everybody's wearing tzitzis. Why not give him? When he's in the grave, you can't give him tzitzis. There's nothing you can do. Finished. End of story. So what do we do bisman hazeh? So I think we put a talis and we passel the tzitzis. The Ramban paskins that you do a bisman hazeh. Tosfos says that you see that in Ashkenaz. He says in our time we don't do it.
Why'd you pass?
Why? What?
Why you pass it?
Doesn't mean to bury him with it.
Why'd you pass it?
Bury him with it.
I'm not sure why do we pass it, because he's not chayiv mitzvahs anyways. It's not like to be yaitz both. You give him, you make him feel good. He's wearing tzitzis, but the puzzle. Okay.
It's like a kid with a little Vanessa, you like a little.
Some people say, I think it's Tosfos even says that bisman hazeh, it's not a stira to this Gemara, that we could do both. You put it on the mace, but then you take it off. So you do kind of both. Okay.
You should not allow you to bury a talis.
Baltashchus. Okay. Baltashchus, the actual beged.
Yeah.
But the chrichim are not tashchus. Okay.
Isn't the tachmir the same thing as the kittel?
It looks the same, but
The kittel doesn't have four corners.
right. But the chrichim doesn't have four corners. You're saying in addition to the chrichim, put a talis on. Maybe the chrichim does have four corners. I never really looked at it. It's a sheet, so it should have four corners.
So it's not the same as the kittel.
Oh no! It resembles a kittel in terms of color and everything else. Kittel resembles that. Omar Rachba Omar Rav Yehuda talis shenikro chutz l'shalish yitvar. If a talis ripped more than 3 fingers away from the edge, you should sew it. Like we saw yesterday. Toich shalish loy yitvar. Now the problem is that if you sew it with a white string, you might come to use the white string for your tzitzis, and that's a problem of tasav leminasi. Tanamachi. Talis shenikro chutz l'shalish yitvar. We said the same thing. If it was ripped more than 3 finger breadths away, then you do sew it. Torch Shalosh is machlokes Remeir Omer L'Yitvar v'Chamarim Yitvar. Remeir is like our sugi that you don't sew it because the problem of Tasbel Iminasi. V'Shavim, and everybody agrees. Remeir and the Chachamim. Shlo Yavi Afilu Amal Lama Mokim Acher. If your tzitzis got cut off, don't take another tzitzis that's already made. You'll take another. I have an idea. I like these tzitzis; they're perfect. I'll just cut off something from another beged and sew it on. That's certainly also. Why? That's Tasbel Iminasi. Rashi says Dal Kamfe Bigdayim, and this wasn't there while you made it. You need to have on this beged Al Kamfe Bigdayim, each beged you have to put the tzitzis on each beged. You can't take from another beged. Vishavin, and everybody agrees. Shemevi tcheles memokim acher v'toileba. So this is halacha l'maisa. What happens if you don't want your beged anymore? You have older tzitzis. Can I undo my tzitzis and just use it, especially if you have tcheles, let's say, and it costs 200 shekel a pair, and you have a problem with your beged, you're not going to use it anymore? Can you undo it? Yes, you can undo it and use it again. Why? Because there's a whole thing in the place they daven in Yom Kippur. There's a guy running around there telling people, everybody who's wearing tcheles, the old grunics, and he's running around. If you're going to wear tcheles for the first time, we'll pay. We'll help you out. There's a whole subsidy program going on. You can't. You already wear. You don't. That doesn't apply to you. If you want to get your kids. All right. The only difference is that Uman is might be an Isser. I don't know, but this is the Daraisa. The Mikayim Daraisa. I don't know. I saw Rabbanim come out against it. I don't know. I didn't read exactly what they said. Fine. Oh. It's a something. Okay, Uman is a something Daraisa, and this is something Daraisa. Fine. The people that hold it's Daraisa, they pay for it. That's what happened. Says the Gemara, you're allowed to use these tzitzis as long as they're not cut off at the end. As Tosfos, what kind of chiddush is this? If it's cut off at the end, of course you can't use it. You hear the Kasher Rabbi say? Let's turn the page. Let's do this again. You're allowed to undo tzitzis and use them on your beged. Make sure that they're not cut. Okay? As Tosfos, of course. Shalom Aleichem. If you have cut tzitzis, what's the havamina that I can use it on my next beged? So they say, the Shittim Kubetza says a beautiful teretz. Tosfos obviously doesn't like the teretz because he doesn't say it. He says, my Ashmina, what's the chiddush? But the Shita says, because we learned that if you have the proper size and then you cut it down and you have kedei aniva, then you can leave it in the beged. But I cannot use that tzitzis. If you start off with that size, it's no good. And that's what the Gemara is saying here. That's also not a chiddush you're saying. Yeah, but you're applying it lemaisa. Then what? No, I would have a havamina that if in beged A this tzitzis is good enough. Why? Because I can make a slip knot with it. So maybe I could undo it and just put it on beged B. Why not? That's the chiddush. It's also.
We said already that only the tchila is the shear by the safe line.
That's if you're starting off with the tchila. But what if it was already good? You had a lechatchila, and I just want to transfer it to another beged. That we didn't say that chiddush.
How much do you need to transfer it?
No, the Gemara. It's not exactly the Gemara. The Gemara is saying if you started off with that length and it was never on another pair of tzitzis, it's not the exact same Gemara.
So how much
I'm saying over here is good in the morning, and I want to use it in the afternoon on another beged. Maybe it should be good.
More over there she talks about gardimin.
Yeah.
She said that after that specific beged, it's okay, but you can't undo it and put it in the
Okay,
beged.
so that's exactly halacha. I don't remember it like that. Fine. What are you saying?
How much do you need to transfer it?
How much? What do you mean how much?
He said, it's only there, you can't transfer it. So
What if
how
it's
much
half
do
a
you not
screen?
need?
You need a real shear, a big shear. Oh, you're saying kedei aniva is the shear.
So it's more than the and then you can transfer it.
So maybe you need a shli. I don't know. No, 12. We'll see. The shear is over here. Whatever the Gemara says, 12 fingers, whatever. Zog Gemara, shmas mino matir mi beged lebeged. L'chayr, it seems like you could use tzitzis from another beged. Dilma di blai. Maybe no. Maybe only in a situation where the beged is going bye-bye anyways, it's a ruined beged, and then you could do it. What would be the nafkamina? Because if the beged is no good, so now you don't have a bizayin for the tzitzis. But if the beged is good, so maybe it's a bizayin. Zog the Gemara, Tana Rabbanan. Let's see, talis shekulat chelas. Now, the halacha is that you see from the Torah that the Torah is makbid that you should have two minim. You should have white and blue. The Torah says, put in min kanaf, you should have white. In addition, you should have blue. So the Torah says you should have two colors. What if you have a tal shekulat chelas? It's entirely blue, the whole beged. So then the halacha is, kol minei tzivonim padrim bo. You can use any color. You can use red also. So as long as you have two separate colors, chutz mikol ilan. The only color you can't use is indigo, because now it's the same color as the tchelas. Meisvei talis ein poter bo elo mino. A talis is the only poter when you use the same color as the tzitzis have to be the same color as the beged. What do you do? Talis shekula tchelas, maybe tchelas v'dover acher v'toilaba. You should, when you have a beged, when the garment is blue, bring another color. V'kol ilan loyavi, and indigo is not good. Vim hevi kosher. Ooh, says here that it's kosher. So we have a stira. On the one hand, we said if you use indigo, it's possible. Over here, it says indigo is kosher. You shouldn't do it, but at the end of the day, if you do it, it's okay. Omer Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak lekasher. Kan betalis bas arba chutin, kan betalis bas shmoina chutin. What's going on here? So, if, according to Rashi, if you already have 4 strings, you fold them over, how many do you have? 8. Okay. He went and he put an additional 4 strings. In other words, he already had blue, he already had white, and now he comes in and he puts an additional 4 blue indigo strings. That's a problem. It's not the end of the world. That's the halacha, that's not the end of the world. Don't do it. Why shouldn't you do it? Because now you're going to have a lot of blue strings, and what? Oh, 5 minutes? Okay, those are the last 5 minutes. They always go fast.
Why is this not the same as the case we
Hold on, we can't have questions now. We only have 5 minutes. So you have a lot of blue strings. What's going to happen? One day he's going to forget. He's going to undo all his strings, and he's going to use his indigo as tchelas, and that's shatnas. It could be a problem with shatnas. Or he'll take off the real tchelas and he'll be left with his indigo, and it's a problem of shatnas on this beged. Fine. That's when you have 8 strings. 4 strings is a problem. You can't use indigo when you only have 2 strings and you're using the blue as the same color. That's mamish asar. But the Gemara sticks in here. There's a little trick here. Why do we just say this halacha? Because we just said under our breath that he's taking from one beged and putting on another beged. It's a problem. He might one day undo it and use his blue on another beged, and he's using the indigo, he's using the kol ilan, and that's a problem. What did you just tell me? You just told me I could use it from one beged to another beged. Without realizing it, you just told me a halacha. You slipped a halacha in there, that he's going to undo it, and he's going to use it on another beged. Oh. Shmas mina matir mi beged le beged. Says the Gemara, no. What's the raya? Dilma di ovad. It doesn't say you're allowed to. It just says, what if he does it? If he does it, you might have a big problem. Don't learn from this halacha. Itmar. Rav Omar, what? What are you tying, Menachem? Rav Omar, matir mi beged le beged, u'Shmuel Omar matir mi beged le beged. So this is machlokes Rav and Shmuel, whether you can use tzitzis from one beged to the other. Rav Omar, madlikim min ner le ner. On Chanukah, can you light on one menorah from the other menorah? We always use the shamish. We don't go from one to the other. What's the problem? Because the problem is bizoyon. And if the problem is bizoyon, then really la halacha, the Gemara over there says that at the end of the Gemara, it could be bizoyon, it could be because you're making the fire less. The Gemara says no, the problem is bizoyon. There is no bizoyon when you're doing another mitzvah. So la halacha, you would be allowed to light one menorah to another menorah because it's not an embarrassment for the first menorah. It's better for the first menorah. You're doing more mitzvahs with it. If the problem was that you're lessening the fire, then it would be asr. But that's not the problem.
That's the same reason for a matter in beg in the bag.
Right, the same bizayon halacha. Right, we're talking about bizayon now.
Rashi says the bizayon on the beged, not on the talis, not on the tzitzis.
Hmm?
The bizayon is a tzitzis and
The beged, right, and that's why if the beged is bala, if the beged is no longer good, then you don't have a problem on the beged. Ushmul Omar madlikim min ner lener. When it comes to Chanukah, you go from one ner to the other. Rav Omar ein halacha Reb Shimon begreira. This is the famous halacha of Safsol of Eni Miskaven in Shabbos, that if you drag a bench, you want the bench, but by doing so you cause a groove in the ground, and that's also to make a groove. You're not allowed to dig on Shabbos. Reb Shimon says it's mutter because you're not Eni Miskaven. You're not thinking about it at all. Ushmul Omar. So Rav says the halacha is not like Reb Shimon, that Eni Miskaven is asur. Ushmul Omar halacha Reb Shimon begreira, that Eni Miskaven is mutter. Omar Abaya. On these three halachas that we just learned, Kol Mili Demar, everything that my Rebbe, Rabbi Nachmani, who Abai everybody knows was an orphan, and Rabbi Nachmani took him in and he was his Rebbe, he taught him everything he knew. So Kol Mili Demar Ovid Kirav, Lebar Mahanit Laz Dovid Kishmul. Everything he did exactly like Rav, besides these three last halachas that we just learned. That what? Matirimi beged lebeged. You could undo tzitzis and use another beged. Umadlikim iner, and you could use a menorah to another menorah. V'halach Reb Shimon begreira, and the halacha is Edim Miskaven is mutter. The Sai Reb Shimon ben Omer, what's the case? Goyra the meat of the kis of safsel. You could drag a bed, a chair, and a bench. Or mevatchle iskaven lasis charetz. As long as you have mechaven, it's mutter. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Mosal Eli Katzaro. Rabbi Yehuda would give his tzitzis to the cleaners. What's the problem? This is the problem right over here. Boys, I brought you a sample. This happened this week to my tzitzis. My wife did laundry, and we use those blue things. I don't know if you know that you wrap the thing in the blue, and the blue thing, it works actually, until the blue thing gets stuck somewhere. And it ripped off all four tzitzis, nice and clean. What happens if we were in business, the cleaning begadim, and this happened? My wife would run right away, buy real nice indigo, and she would put it right back on. Right? That's.
You use those for the sack bag.
So that's the problem. We have to what?
You know, you get a sock bag.
Yeah, we used to do that. It's not.
With that, if you use it with that, the blue thing.
No, the sack, it falls out. Anybody has a good eitzah what to do how to clean tzitzis? Israelis, they have a very good eitzah. They never clean their tzitzis. But I wear undershirts. I have to clean it like every day. I need a good eitzah. Somebody tell me I have to share. Oi, I didn't have Moshe. If I would have really. All right. Rav Yehuda Mosalei, I'm on a roll here. First, we're racing. We start off with Mendy. Motzi Yom Kippur. We start off with Mendy. 3 strikes. I'm gone. There's not going to be any video online today. Rav Yehuda Mosalei the Katzara. He had no problem giving it to the cleaners because the cleaner, we're not worried that he's going to go and put in his own tzitzis, the puzzle tzitzis. Rav Chanina Avalei Sisya. Rav Chanina did what Mr. Kornbluth said. He put it in a ball of some sort and he gave it to him like that. Ravino Chaydu Mechot. This is a good idea. They should actually come out with it. They should have like a little zipper in the corner and you put your tzitzis in and close it, or Velcro.
They have like a small hole.
Yeah. The small hole is not good. It never worked for me. I need like a real with the zipper with the Velcro. You invented. I buy it. Tanu Rabbanon.
You're gonna make a jacket with a zipper for its film.
We saw that. Tanu Rabbanon. Kam chutim v'noisen. Big sugya in 1 minute. How many strings do you need? We're going to go according to Rashi. You put in 4 strings and you fold it over. How do you know? So Tosfos explains because it says Gdil is 2 and Gdilim is 4. You put in 3 and you double it over, it's 6. Why? Because Gdil is 2, Psil is 1 according to Tosfos. Psil means 1, so you have 3. 3 times 2 is 6. According to Rashi, how long does it hang down? What's the length? Arba. It should hang down 4 finger breadths. So how much do we have total? 6. Why? Because we said that the stringing, this part has to be double of this part. So if this is 4, and so this has to be 2. So maybe the total is 6. It's not a good time to lose a place. Where am I? Oh, Besiloim Shalosh. So 3 would be 4.5 total. Because half of 3 is 1.5. 2 times that, 4.5. V'sholish shebeisilu oimrim achas mi'arba b'tevach shel kol adam. So what's the shear? You use your largest finger, which is the thumb, and what? It's 1 of 4. In other words, he holds that the tefach is 4 thumbs, and you use shakola, the meaning average person, average adult man, his thumbs. Omer apapa tefach deiraisa arba begudol. Either it's 4 thumbs a tefach, or shis piktana, or 6 pinkies, chomesh betilta, or 5 fingers. That's ba. Omer avuna arba besoich arba. It should be, the string should be 4 finger breadths away from the edge of your garment. Arba, it should be 4 strings. Besoich arba, 4 finger breadths away. Umishuleshes, and how much does it hang down? Arba, 4, 4, 4. Rav Yehuda Amar shloisha. It should be 3 strings like Basil. Besoich shalish, 3 finger breadths away. Mishuleshes shalish, and it hangs down 3, 3, 3, 3. Amar Apapa, he makes a mishmash. Hilchasa arba. It should be 4 strings. Besoich shalish, and he borrows from Rav Yehuda and Beis Hillel the shear of 3 finger breadths. Mishuleshes arba, and he goes back 4, 3, 4. Adkan. Have a great day.
How did you not make a chart for that?
What?
How did you not make a chart for that?
You know when I prepared this? We had a cheer last night.
Listen, you had 6 hours in the
Tomorrow it's here,
no
but the
davening.
Shabbos it's here, and then Sunday and Yom Tov, hopefully we're gonna